Hello, and welcome to episode 61 of Cutscene Convos.
Yes.
Been a big week, so there's big things to discuss, including a character profile on Betty Ross, the Bad Batch season finale, Mandalorian episode 5, our final thoughts before D&D Honor Among Thieves comes out. I mean, today as you're listening to this. Before we get into a bit of a spicy Nerd News Network with first looks at Vincent D'Onofrio and Lady Gaga, rumors about the Batman 2 villain, lots of people lost their jobs. It's been a big week. Before wrapping things up with our Super Showdown, which is Swamp Thing versus Blue Beetle. But before all that good stuff, Ori, how's your week been?
Had an actual busy week. I think when we were recording last week, I mentioned the girlfriend was going to visit, meet the parents. That was a nice weekend. Had a good time. Met up with some friends as well for some drinks. Went to some gaming bars in Manchester, which was a lot of fun. Having gaming themed cocktails while playing Overcooked as a 4-man was, as expected, pure chaos.
Yeah,
so
that's all that's ever going to be. I don't think anyone they knew what they were doing when they designed it that way.
Oh yeah. We basically had access to Xbox Game Pass.
Nice.
So it was just like all sorts. We played some gang beasts and whatnot. It was a good time. And went and got some great food. Other than that, I've been working projects. Rocket League's got the next major this coming week on Tuesday, I think, next week.
Awesome.
So prepping stuff for that, usual graphics related stuff. And then, I mean, other than that, just gaming. Just gaming with the boys, gaming on Destiny grind. Already
There's no way you gamed with us for 2 hours just so you could claim you gamed with the boys this week.
Is it a false statement, though?
I don't know. It feels disingenuous.
I didn't say it was just you boys. I have gamed with boys. But yeah, other than that, busy with work, but then also plenty of chill and enjoyable time. Kind of getting a good balance going at the moment.
Awesome.
How's your week been?
Just it's been chaos. So
I knew this was
I don't
coming.
know. What's the date?
30th, I think.
30th. So yeah. So last weekend I was at a wedding. One of my best friends in the world finally got married. And that was just a brilliant day.
Nice.
So I was off work on the Monday. So me and my girlfriend laid in bed all day and watched Ted Lasso. We'd never watched Ted Lasso before.
Right. Okay.
But I was really interested in it, and she's got a new phone recently, which gave her 3 months of Apple TV free. So like, yeah, let's see what's on there.
Yeah, why not?
So we started watching Ted Lasso, and my God, it might be one of the best things I've ever watched. In the first day, we got through like a season and 3/4.
Oh shit, you've binged it.
Just absolutely binged it. So really good. But then it was back into work. But the problem I've got is over the next 5 weeks at work, the most I'm in is 4 days out of 5 because of various bank holidays and trips to Ireland and stuff.
Right. Oh yeah, you got the weird.
Yeah, so it's 4 days this week because I was off. 4 days next week. 3 days the week after that, and then 4 working days, but only 3 actually in work the week after that. And it's just
wild.
Yeah, nothing's ever simple. The part of my job that got taken away to make my life easier has magically found its way back to me.
Well, we always love when that happens, don't we?
Yeah, which was not a fun conversation, but it is what it is. We've just got to move on and try and make it work. So that's also just added a buttload of stuff that needs to be done pretty quickly so that I can start taking that on again. So yeah, it's just been a lot, man. Just it's just been one of them weeks where, yes, since I got back, the wedding feels like a million years ago, but it feels like yesterday. It's like the days have all been long, but they're also going really quickly, but not quickly enough. It's just, I don't know. I don't know, it's chaos.
Yeah, fair.
And that led to me really not having a clue what to do character profiles wise. So I was going to do a Hulk character profile. So I was like, you know what? Every time we do Hulk stuff, it does really well because the Hulk is just, pardon the pun, massive.
Yeah, everyone loves the Hulk.
So I was thinking about doing a Hulk character profile, but then I saw in the news that I forget the actress's name, is reprising her role as Betty Ross in Captain America.
Oh,
New World Order.
Yes.
So I was like, oh fuck it, let's do a Betty Ross character profile. That would be fun. So that's what we did.
Fair.
Okay, so Betty Ross. Elizabeth Ross, aka Betty Ross, first appeared in Incredible Hulk #1 all the way back in March 1962. Hori's 21st birthday.
I was waiting for it. I was just like, it's coming.
She was born in California to Air Force General Thaddeus Ross and his wife.
Name.
Betty's mother died when she was a teenager. And her father didn't believe a military base was a place for a young lady, so he shipped her off to boarding school and had nothing to do with her for a number of years.
That's nice.
Yeah. When she returned after boarding school, General Ross was now in charge of a top secret gamma bomb project. The head scientist of said project was Robert Bruce Banner, or Bruce Banner. And that's where she met Bruce. General Ross was never a fan of Bruce because he thought he was quite timid and a bit of a weakling. But he then took that lack of enthusiasm for Bruce and turned it into an outright hatred when he realized how quickly Bruce and Betty were getting along and gaining interest in one another. This then obviously caused further issues when Bruce became the Hulk and he was being hunted down by General Ross while Betty knew he was the Hulk and didn't really care. And they just fell more and more deeply in love. Then there was a period of time where Bruce had a bit more control over his transforming, and General Ross gave his permission for them to marry. Which they did, although Bruce's head was turned by another woman, at which point Betty, although he didn't cheat, I don't believe, Betty just kind of went, oh, I've lost you, I'm off. And she married another longtime enemy of Bruce's, General Glenn Talbot.
What a mess.
Oh, I mean, it's a 60-year history in comic books, lad. It was always going to get messy. But when Glenn Talbot was believed dead, she had a bit of a nervous breakdown.
Right.
And she was manipulated by MODOK. So she's infused with gamma radiation and she became the Harpy. And the Harpy isn't the only super-powered persona she's had over the years. She was also, after one of her resurrections, the Red She-Hulk for a while. Interesting. And she's also worked as a spy after being believed dead, and she operated under the code name of Mr. Blue.
Interesting.
But yeah, I feel like Betty Ross, although she doesn't feel like it as much anymore with the change of the way superheroes have been represented in the media, I feel like she's like one of the original like love interests that people knew of. Everyone remembers like from the OG Hulk film in 2000 and whatever it was, before the MCU Hulk film, where it was like, oh, only Betty can calm him down and stuff like that. So it was interesting. But yeah, apparently she's going to be back Captain America Civil War, but not Civil War, New World Order. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now we've got to discuss the Bad Batch finale, episodes 15 and 16. And I mean, we don't go through it shot by shot anymore. So I'm just going to jump to the end.
I wasn't emotionally ready.
There is no way I, like, 5 or 6 weeks ago, accidentally called what the big twist at the end was, is there?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what you said.
Well, I said when we first met that doctor lady, is it just me or does she sound a lot like Omega to you?
Yeah, you said, I think you said that, and then to be fair, I saw, was it last week or something? I saw something where I was like, she looks kind of clone-esque, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult, especially with animation, if they're just like, is the animation style making it look that way?
But it's like,
But
yeah, you did call she sounded
yeah,
similar to Omega.
and do you know what it was? It's because I don't know if she is actually like an Australian accent, but it has like a bit of a Kiwi kind of Australian twang to it, which
Yeah.
makes sense because I forget his name. The gentleman who played the live action clones and Django Fett
Yeah.
is from New Zealand, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So like that makes complete sense. But then when I heard that accent really stands out in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So I heard that, I was like, that just sounds similar, but I didn't know if I was being a dumbass.
Yeah, well, it's one of those where it's like, obviously at the start of when we first met that female doctor, it's like, before then, there's zero indication that there was anyone else like Omega. Like, we just presumed Omega was like some brand new thing they were trying.
Well, we were also told that Omega was part of the like initial batch.
Hmm.
Because she's like got basically identical to Django Fett's DNA.
Yes, and it's like, to be fair, that could be true, and it's like this one that's her sister, whatever, could actually have been after her, but obviously had could have included the accelerated growth,
yeah,
like the clones all had. So yeah, big twist at the end.
It's a big old twist.
I'm also, I don't know if this is me just just in denial. Probably is a bit of me in denial, but I refuse to accept that Tech is dead. We didn't see a body. They got goggles.
As a general rule, I operate under the assumption no body, no case.
Like, especially for like a main character like that, it's just, I don't know. The fact that they had his goggles, I'm like, and that's all they could recover. Yeah, don't trust you, mate. But I was not emotionally ready, especially like it was just so well.
It was so well done. It was so well written.
The way he was just like
since when do we follow orders?
Yeah, that perfect line from Tet, and then the fact that the thing is called Plan 99, which is named after Clone 99, who sacrificed himself in the animated series. Everyone fell in love with 99 nines. Do you know what's big? Like even more sad. Echo was there for when 99 sacrificed himself, and Echo's just experienced another one of his brothers do Plan 99 and sacrifice himself. So Echo's been through it.
Yeah. Echo's been through a lot. Echo might have the trophy for the most traumatized clone.
Yeah, I think he might. I have to say though, Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo, the three of them, they're about to commit some war crimes in season 3. Like they're gonna go on a rampage.
It's gonna become the Geneva suggestion.
Yeah, it's no longer gonna be we're trying to stay out of the eyes of the Empire. It's like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
We're gonna find out the rebellion was born out of trying to save Omega.
Yeah, it wouldn't like. There's gonna be some. It's gonna be a shit show in season 3.
For sure.
No
prisoners.
We called the idea that Omega was gonna get caught. I didn't quite see it going this way, and I didn't think I did think there was gonna be like part of the finale was gonna be the breaking Crosshair out. I didn't really expect it to end on the cliffhanger of Omega gets taken.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that I fucking called it. You called I called it. Sid's a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah. You saw that coming.
I hope.
Know what else I kind of called?
Go on.
the fact that they would be prepared to return to their little haven place and then something would stop them.
Yes. Yeah, the fact that they were talking about it, and when he said that, I was like, "You're not out of it yet." So this is
Yeah,
no.
I told you they would go, yeah, let's live here. Let's just be happy here. Let's try and move on with our lives. No more of this violence. And they wouldn't be allowed to.
Do you know what's worse though? Pirate Woman definitely had a bit of a thing for tech.
Yeah,
And
she wanted his big brown eyes.
She's not going to get to know at the moment. She doesn't know.
She's
Because
going
they
to
ain't
turn up to help them burn the fucking empire down.
They ain't going to go back there at the moment.
No, of course not. They got to go save their girl.
But I thought it was a great episode. I just wasn't ready for the emotional roller coaster that was.
Yeah.
Why did they have to take?
Episode 15 was really fun. It was just kind of like this. Yeah, let's go. We got espionage. We got Saw Gerrera cameo. This is all going to be awesome.
That's another thing. Fuck Saw Gerrera. You know what? I like throughout Rogue One and stuff. Thought he was a bit of. Always has been a bit.
He is an extremist. He's definitely that side of the rebellion where the Empire don't have too difficult a time making people think he's just a terrorist.
Yeah, and it's
because of the way he goes about stuff.
Majority of the time when we've seen him, I've his things have been extreme, but it's like, okay, I can like he's kind of needed.
Yeah.
Fuck him on this because he gained nothing from doing this.
We know he didn't kill Tarkin.
He didn't kill any of the big guys.
Yeah.
All he did was destroy the power to the cable car, destroy the tracker, and it ultimately got Omega caught. So and Tech killed. So honestly, don't care for him anymore. I hope he suffers through the next. I know. At the end.
I mean, we saw what he was looking like in Rogue One. He wasn't looking too good. He definitely goes through it.
I kind of hope Wrecker and Hunter get some. Just give him a bit of a beating or something.
When Wrecker gets hold of the people who've got Omega, that episode's going to be rated a bit higher, I think.
We're going to see, next season we are going to see a Wrecker lose some of that childlike stuff for at some moments. Like he's going to go full Hulk mode.
I really enjoyed when they got captured though, and Echo was in the walker. And they're like, it's Echo, and then Wrecker just breaks the handcuffs. It's like you didn't have him captured.
Yeah,
he was just not willing to take his own restraints off yet.
Yeah, he was just following Hunter's lead.
Yeah, he was waiting for their moment.
I loved that Echo got into one of them walkers. That was like a nice little, almost felt like a bit of a throwback to the films when that happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think season 3 could very easily kick the shit out of our emotions.
Yes. I also think season 3 we are gonna get more Rex because at the end of the day, they're gonna need some help. And I think they're gonna go to Rex and be like, look, they got Omega, and Rex is like, okay, well, and then it's gonna be like that group. So I think we're gonna start seeing kind of less of them being on their own while on whatever part of the season where they're trying to rescue Omega. It's like they're gonna be working with other clones. So we're essentially gonna see a full clone squad of them. Just
what I will say is in season 3 they can't really afford to have filler episodes like we've had this season, because it won't be believable for them to go off and do some weird little adventure.
Oh yeah, I think
when they're supposed to be looking for Omega.
I think the filler episodes that won't feel as direct action packed will be them doing some side thing for information.
Yeah.
And there'll be some little info thing, but it's they had to do this little side thing to get that information.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. The next season's going to be a bit more.
It has to be a bit more focused.
Yeah, I would agree.
And don't get me wrong, we can moan about the filler episodes this season if we want to, but it was kind of showing how the characters were at a bit of a crossroads, which is why most of the filler episodes were at the beginning before Echo went off and joined Rex.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of they're going through the motions, nothing's really going on. It makes no sense for them to have this real big purpose right now because they don't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, the filler episodes definitely all paid off in some way.
Yeah.
By the end, so I guess they were worth it in that sense.
Yeah.
But overall,
You,
I like this season's been great.
it's been very, very enjoyable. And we're gonna get more of the kind of clone saga as to Palpatine returns somehow. We're gonna get more info on that. We're gonna get to see the clones be a bit more brutal. It's gonna be more like the height of the Clone Wars, where we get to have cool clones popping in and out because they're all gonna be kicked out of the military now, and they're all gonna be willing to help their brothers. So we might have some familiar faces cutting about.
I am looking forward to seeing where Bad Batch are going to end. Like, if they are going to end up settling on that island, and if there's a way that they're left that we may could we see future like them crop up somewhere else in the future?
I think we only get to see one of them live on that island, and that would be Omega.
Hmm.
And that is because the other characters will do anything for her, including sacrifice themselves. So the only way they end up settling there is if they've all died and their like last wish to Omega is for us just go and live a nice peaceful life.
Yeah, true. That
Other than that,
I'm
they'll
not
all
ready
just
for that.
all join the rebellion.
I'm not ready for that.
Mm.
Like Omega being the last one, and she goes and finds the parrot and the lady, and together they live out their days. Yeah, emotional one.
Yeah,
An
it
emotional
really,
one.
really, it was a lot for in Wednesday.
Yeah, not quite what I was ready for the finale.
Mando episode 5.
Yes, Mando episode 5.
I enjoyed it, man. It was good.
I am expecting you to have missed a huge cameo.
From the guy in the Star Bar, the alien-looking dude.
Yes. Do you know who that
Alien-looking
was?
dude. He's from Rebels, is he not?
He is correct. It is
So I've
Zeb
seen bits and pieces
Aurelius.
of people being excited, but I have no idea who he is.
They are so for one that like little rebel. Oh, it's not rebels now. It's New Republic. Their class does.
Yeah.
It's like their army camp bar.
But yeah.
Whatever. That was mentioned in season 2 of Mando, so we actually get to see it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, in the bar, I forget the character's name, but the one who's the X-wing pilot, he gets a hollow thing, wanting help.
Yeah.
And big alien dude walks up, who I freaked the fuck out because I was like, "Holy shit, that looks like Zeb from Rebels." Then he speaks, and it is Zeb from Rebels because it's the same voice actor who's come back and reprised his role. Yeah, Zeb Aurelius was one of the, I forget what the crew name was in Rebels, but yeah, one of the crew members. So super cool considering Rebels is set like more Bad Batch side. No.
Yeah.
It's set in that like before episode 6. Because it's right as the rebellion's beginning.
Episode 6 would be the end of the rebellion.
Sorry, not episode 6.
Do you mean before episode 4?
Yes.
Okay, so like
yeah, it's like
as the rebellion's building momentum
before they are literally the start of like the organized rebellion. So to see Zeb still kicking around in Mando, and the fact that he's like,
don't take no prisoners.
My guy is now like an official like pilot guy, whatever he's bombing around
official
doing.
Dude.
If we don't get a Chopper cameo now, like if my guy Chopper isn't committing war crimes still and buzzing around and we don't get to see him in Mando, I'm gonna be sad. Like if we get Zeb, if we don't see Chopper, I'm gonna be so upset. But it was super cool to see that. That was like the big, like, got me so hyped this episode.
I mean, I assume we're going to see more of him in the Ahsoka series then.
Potentially, I don't know. I know that the Ahsoka series is mainly going to be Sabine and Ahsoka looking. Oh, I don't want to do spoilers, but like, I think Zeb gets left with being part of the rebellion. I think it's how the end of Rebels was. I can't remember where he left off exactly, but yeah. So he might show up here and there. Can I also say the CGI on him?
So clean.
Like, we've said it multiple times now with Mando that it's wild, the stark difference between the quality we're getting in Mando and the the Marvel shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like,
Oh no,
it
was
really
insane.
just is like they consistently showing up Marvel, considering they're both under Disney.
It's a difference between, okay, yeah, obviously it's not real, that's an acceptable level of disbelief,
Mm-hmm.
versus holy shit, is that real?
Yeah, basically, this is the thing that it's like, sure, they had a great thing of like people already, a lot of Star Wars fans know of Zeb, have got used to his character, so they are like they understand the character. It doesn't have to be super believable, but to make him like feel real enough in live act, like it was so well done.
But do we know if, just out of curiosity, do we know if Star Wars are still employing like the half puppet with touched up CGI format?
It wouldn't surprise me if some of that was a guy stood there in clothing. I don't know if it was full CGI.
Because the
I'd have to
best
go back and watch it.
CGI has always been when they take a puppet or
Yeah,
like a big fucking suit on a guy or whatever, and then they just touch that up with CGI instead of trying to go full CGI model, which is why the original trilogy in Star Wars still holds up,
yeah.
because it's puppets which give it like, it makes it real, and then you're just making it look a bit tidier.
I know Mando does use a lot of puppetry and like actual costumes.
I mean, that's why in the sequels, even though like you can have your issues with the stories, they looked a lot better than the prequels, because in the prequels they went full CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
then for the sequels, they went back to puppetry with CGI, and it just looked so much more like Star Wars.
Yeah, no, it does. So I have to go back and have a look at it again. But I mean, whatever they've done, it came across great. And
For sure.
also, this episode we got, I don't know what it is. It's got to be the nostalgia, but like just having this much X-wing flying around, getting just to watch
It
an
feels good.
X-wing bomb
It feels
around,
real good.
it just feels great. And I loved the fact that he found Mando in that because he had the ability to track the veteran droid. Like the fucking old school rebel droid is what helped him find where Mando and that were. Like, looking, what are the chances? I thought it was interesting.
Oh, God.
No, I thought it was just interesting how he understood. Yeah, no, I'm not meant to be here. Won't tell anyone who you are. But
yeah, he tried to be very respectful of their culture while also desperately needing to communicate with them.
Yeah. Go on,
Um,
what were you gonna say?
I did really enjoy Paz Vizsla's jumping in on Mando, begging them to go help. He's like,
Yeah.
why should we lay our life down again? He's like, because they're Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was
Got
just
me
like,
hyped.
obviously Mando does his like little pitch to things, and he kind of is. Let's be honest. If Mando, he quite clearly doesn't want to be that guy that forces people to follow him, and he's like, well, it's my mate. I'm gonna go help. Like, it'd be nice if you guys came along. Let's be real. If he wanted to, he could whip that dark saber out, and they'd all go, yes, sir, or on the way.
Yeah.
Like, they would just accept it. But obviously, he's trying not to be that sort of a Mandalorian. But yeah, I thought it was funny when Paz got up, and I was like, oh, shit, maybe Paz doesn't like him as much as we were thinking he does now.
Yeah, that was
Maybe
literally my
I was like,
exact thought.
he's still salty. He's going to use this as an opportunity to get one over. And then he's like, he laid his life on the line for my son, so we shall do anything for him. I'm like, oh shit, he has fully turned to Mando's best bud.
It's just because of the way they've designed him and the way he like stands a lot. He
Yeah.
just always looks salty as fuck.
Yes, and but he's just an absolute unit.
He is. He makes the helmet look small. If
Yeah.
you look at like Bo and Din, their helmet looks like almost too big, like there's
Yeah.
too much wiggle, and then it looks like they've literally had to stuff Paz's helmet onto him. And it's not that he chooses to not take it off; he physically can't.
Yeah, he probably can't.
My man's just drinking protein shakes. He hasn't eaten in 12 years.
And then I liked that the armor was like, "This is the way. We will go fight." And then we got to see them go back to Navarro. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Navarro.
Where the pirates were taking over. I have to say that pirate ship is such a fucking like. We've seen that ship design before. I forget what they're called, but like seeing it with the gun pods all like coming out and then launching little ships, like it was going from last week's episode where we saw the Mandalorians training and we're like, oh, we're gonna get to see them in action at some point, and then we get to see them in action and they're just an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Oh, 100%. They are so ridiculously OP.
Like a Mando and Bo in their ships as a combination just absolutely rinsed the pirate ship.
But it also shows like that they're so much smarter than their enemies as well.
Oh yeah, just their military knowledge and tactical
Prowess.
knowledge. Yeah, it was fully shown with this. And I love the moment where two of them were like pinned. And then next second, Paz just fucking airdrops him with his Gatling gun and just starts lighting up the show.
Yeah. It's become a thing every week when me and General watch. I just turn to her and go, have I mentioned that I really like his Gatling gun?
I really enjoyed the armorer going up in the tower and meleeing.
Just beating the shit out of them, yeah.
Just pure melee mode. I will say, though, how the hell they didn't... I suppose you wouldn't really hear the same as like a gun going off behind you if someone's just getting bonked on the head with a Beskar
One does not
hammer.
simply hear the armorer.
This is true. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool, like, scene of, like, the fight scene, like, fight sequence. Really cool to see the Mandalorians, like, in full force. And now to have a new home.
Yeah, they're back on Navarro, a new old home.
And been given a plot, like, a chunk of land and told you can make this your new Mandalore.
Safely and freely.
And then we got Bo asked down to the armorer's thing, just doing a little like.
I really thought the armorer was going to kick off.
So I thought the armorer going on about the forge that was back on Mandalore. I thought she was going to be like, we're going to make it. I'm going to go back. This is our goal. We are going to go back, and I will relight that. I thought she was going to be like that, sort of like that forge will be mine, sort of idea.
Yeah. Like
then she tells it to take off her helmet. I was like,
yeah,
is this a trick?
Like an excommunicator.
Is this a trap? Is she testing her? But no, she wants her to walk both sides, which makes fucking sense. Yeah. The armorer knows. Like the armorer wants to rebuild as well. Like, understands that it's gonna like not everyone's gonna follow a cult. But having someone who understands both sides and is willing to
respect both sides.
Yes. And knows that because Bo's from royal heritage and has that understanding from a child of like having to do the blessings in the water just for the sake of pleasing people. Like the armorer knows who they're dealing with, and it's like, why would I not make use of this?
And also, as well as her knowing that Bo's seen the mythosaur, she's like, okay, I'm gonna trust the gods on this one.
Yeah. Which is leading into this idea that you keep bringing up as well, that like Bo and Jin are gonna butt heads. I think it's going to be of. So I don't think it's going to be Bo actually that instigates. I think she's going to keep doing her thing and collecting people. And then someone is going to, like, there's going to be this tension from Mandalorians of being like, okay, you're leading us, but he has the sword. He has the dark saber. So why are we following you and not him? And Mando being like, well, I don't want the saber, but she won't take it, and then there's going to be this weird kind of like the people are putting the pressure on the two of them sort of situation. I think
sure.
that is definitely where this is building.
And then next season, Grogu. I'm literally, as much as I'm enjoying every episode of Mandalorian, I'm just sat here waiting, going, okay, cool. So when is he going to talk? When is he going to get his armor? When is he going to become the Mandalore?
I liked when the fact that Grogu was just sat on Mando's lap during that whole fight sequence, just like long for the ride sort of thing. We also got to see we got to see a bit of the tie-in to Army Girl in the office when the X-Wing pilot guy goes to ask for some help from the New Republic, and they're like, "Well, it's not a signed-up planet. Sorry, mate. We kind of got a list of people that are signed up and want our help. Can't really offer you the resources. Sorry, it's not in the government budget." And then she comes in and starts sticking her nose in and being like, there's a bit of tension there because he knows.
Well, yeah, he was a legit rebel fighting on the front lines, an X-Wing pilot. And now he gets to see in the capital city of the entire fucking galaxy this person who was deep, like, in the Imperial ranks, just cutting about like they've changed job.
Yeah. And although they might, there's probably some of them that were liberated and freed from like the positions they were stuck in.
Yeah, they won't have been as high up the ranks as people her, though.
She ain't like that. We already know this.
No. That'll be your like conscripted fucking stormtroopers, like a Finn in the sequels.
Yes.
That's not going to be someone who's worked their way up the ranks and
is on Moff Gideon's ship. Let's be honest.
Just imagine if after like, I mean, that's not a good example. America did it. Moving on.
But yeah, it was cool. I thought interesting to. Although people kind of were like, "What the fuck's the point of the Doctor one?" It actually is important to like. If we just saw her now, we'd be like, "Why the tension?" But we understand his tension with her because we know what she is, like who she is, and like where she's come from.
Yeah, and also at the end of the episode, it got confirmed that Moff Gideon's escaped.
Yes.
So like, there's a subplot going on here.
There is, and because the X-Wing pilot guy, he questioned in the office like, "Oh, did he even make it to trial?" No one said anything, and then he goes to look, and he comes across a ship which has been blasted open, which turns out to be Moff Gideon's ship. He never made it to trial, and then he finds Mandalorian Beskar embedded. Now, I think someone's trying to frame the Mandalorians
for sure.
Because
the real question is, does this guy fall for it?
I
don't think he does. I think his supervisors do.
Yeah, I think other people higher up get wind of it and think the Mandalorians did it. I think he's going to end up warning Mando, being like, "Look, someone's trying to frame you. It could be Moff Gideon. He never made it to trial. Like, he's escaped." Which then people are like, "We're going to get Thrawn? Is this like a Thrawn play that's going on? Like, he's got Moff Gideon out? Is he cutting about? Is Moff Gideon like pulling these strings of like the girl back in Coruscant? Is she just still in contact with him? Someone's helped that happen. So who is it? Is the question. Who? Because like, just let's be real. The general soldiers that were on his ship, they're not really going to have pulled this off. It's someone in a good position of power has pulled this off. So,
but I guess the whole point, and it's like why they're trying to confuse us, is she got your man who wanted to go back to doing his
she wiped his brain or whatever.
Yeah. Which would kind of lead you to think that she was really anti-Empire because he was like even inkling a little bit more towards the Empire, and she dobbed him in. But was that just to get herself in a more powerful position so that
I
she had a
think
better chance to help
I
him off?
think she's doing that. So, because do you not remember the woman in that thing was like, "Oh, thank you for bringing this to our attention and like ensuring that like he gets the help." Basically, being like, "Good job, you," and she's like, "Yes, I have done a good job. I'm going to get the praise of everybody and work my way up in
Yeah,
reputation." Because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you make it seem like to everyone else that you're on their side and doing everything you can to be on their side, so they don't question you as a
yeah,
spy,
100%.
essentially. But yeah, I thought very good episode. Loved it. Loved the little cameo from Zeb. Excited to see the Mandalorians now. Like, Bo's gonna start collecting them, so we're gonna start seeing more and more Mandalorians. I
Yeah,
can't wait till we end up with like a proper full force of them.
yeah, it's gonna be really good, and I cannot wait to see all the new armor designs and stuff.
Yeah, and see
It's
if
gonna
we
be
get any like old cameos, if any old Mandalorian characters rock up, or at least family names that we've seen before.
yeah.
That could be interesting. But yeah, great episode. And now we've got no more Bad Batch. Mando is all we have to look forward to on Star Wars. So I need more.
Big Sag.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
D&D, Honor Among
Yes,
Thieves. It's out right now as you're listening to this.
it
I'm gonna go
is.
see it on Saturday.
I will make sure to try my best to not
To
leave it
not leave it to the
till
last second.
Wednesday evening to remember that I need to go see it. Nah, I'm a lot more excited to see D&D than I was to see Shazam, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So shouldn't be too hard for me to remember.
Well, I think the thing that really sold this film for me, other than the fact that I've been watching the Prime shows, Vox Machina,
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that, and that's really got me interested. And like, obviously, there's just infinite storytelling potential. It's all good. Blah 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 blah. We're sat there waiting for Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and the trailer for this film comes on. And before Jenna realizes what it is, she turns to me and goes, "Oh, that looks good. We should go see that." She had no idea what it was. She was like, that looks fun. I want to go watch that."
Yep.
And I was like, I just turned to her. I was like, "We are going to watch that."
It's from the trailers, like obviously a lot of people obviously have high hopes for it. The D&D community is obviously excited, but obviously with any sort of situation where it's like a game or another medium being turned into a film, those fans of the original medium are always cautiously optimistic.
Yes, and I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen from the trailers is they've really captured the essence of D&D and have those funny moments that are very much a nod to D&D moment, but still keeping it like film fantasy. I think that's come from like obviously more and more interviews have been going on the run up, promo, usual stuff, and the actors have talked about the fact that before they even started filming, uh, they were all sat down and they played a D&D game as their characters. Now, I've seen this from many people in comments on these things of we need that. Like, can we have? Please tell me that was filmed, and please tell
I
me they
imagine it's
had.
probably just a one shot with their characters.
I
I
I
imagine it wasn't that
I
deep.
please
It's probably just to help
still,
them get to grips.
even if it's just please tell me it was filmed and it's like a special feature, or like, do you know what would be
Make
great
DVDs relevant again.
if it was filmed and there's like a post credit scene or something, and it's just like narrated and then they're all sat around a table as if like the whole film has just been them playing their characters.
Yeah,
That would
like
be
that was
the
kind of
biggest
like how the
meta
Lego
play.
movie was done, wasn't it?
Yes. That would
Yeah.
the biggest meta play, and I would honestly actually love it. But I'm super excited. There's loads of like I saw one clip of an interview where they were talking about the actors were saying like something they loved was how many practical costumes have been done. So they actually had like the Dragonborn characters, that race, which are essentially half dragon, humanoid dragon people. Like they were all practical things, so that the actors could kind of actually understand what the fuck a Dragonborn is and what they look like.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited the fact that they've confirmed there's loads of practical costumes. It's not all just super CGI on everything. So I think that'll really add to it. And it looks a lot of fun. Just looks a lot of
it
fun.
does. It does. And as long as it gets that kind of how the fuck did that happen feel to it, that should be there in a good D&D story just because of how D&D works. There should be a moment where what you're expecting to happen doesn't, even if it's like not relevant. Someone
Yeah.
goes to try and throw a sword and fucking hits the wrong thing or whatever.
Well, yeah, they need to make sure that it isn't too scripted of a feel. And it's like those moments of, it's okay if someone like in D&D was to crit and they just fucking one shot a creature. Like if one of them just stood there and just absolutely cleaves a creature in half, and it's just like, huh, well that was easier. It's like, yeah, cool, that's fine. Go with the flow of that.
Yeah.
Like I do hope they stick to not. I don't want it to feel like it's too scripted of a story. I
It
want
doesn't need to
shit to
be
go
just a
wrong and shit to
generic
go.
action film.
Yes, exactly.
It can be one of these films where like the plot has these stupid moments that if it wasn't for the fact it's a D&D property, you'd kind of go, what? That makes no sense. Because it makes it make more sense.
Yeah, that's another thing as
Um,
well. Like I hope people that see the trailer, and yeah, he's got the D&D name on it, but like hopefully it's just a good fantasy film that is enjoyable, and actually, if anything, gets people to go, oh, that's a really cool film. Huh, maybe I should go look up what like D&D is and like what more into it.
exactly.
So yeah, I'm
Um,
looking forward to it.
yeah, and
So
like I've already seen some people saying, I hope it's a huge success, and I hope it becomes kind of like what Knives Out has become, where it's just every couple of years we get a new one with a superstar cast, and it's just
mm,
chaos for 2 hours, and then rinse and repeat.
yeah, I'd love if it's a super like a huge success, and then it's like in the second one they do another one or something, another star-studded cast, but then they start having like Critical Role members or like people from the D&D community as like cameos. I think that'd be really funny.
A Matt Mercer cameo as like
Yeah,
the first villain who they deal with really quickly would be really good.
yeah, it really would. But yeah,
But I'm excited to see it. And worst case scenario, if it's just like 2 fun hours, I can live with that.
yeah, it doesn't need to be some like
Yeah.
crazy big thing.
It's not going to be one of these ones where I go into it with a very clear expectation like I do with Marvel or DC
Yeah,
projects.
yeah,
And don't get
exactly.
me wrong, it's probably unfair on Marvel and DC the way I treat them, but it's different.
They
It's
set the
the way I
precedent.
feel
So.
about them projects and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Nerd News Network. Bam, 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 bam,
That
bam.
was just like the jingle I made. How
I
did you
know.
know?
Um. So
Oh,
I mean, whether countries want to admit it or not, there's a global recession going on.
yes, there is.
There seems to be this weird thing where if we don't talk about it, it's not happening. It's happening.
And it
Um.
also seems to be this weird thing of like everyone seems shocked when a new industry makes layoffs. Like it's not
Yeah.
happening in every single industry right now.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Like tech definitely made it the jump first. And because tech has just essentially only grown since like 2005, and it didn't really get slowed down by the 2008 recession that much. Like it's not so much like in 2008 loads of mass layoffs happen. It's just
Mm.
they stopped hiring instead.
Yeah,
Whereas now there's actually layoffs.
it's tech and startup have taken a big brunt of it at the moment,
Yeah,
like those cultures. But you've got like a lot of industries in like in um housing and all that. Or there's
and
loads of
media.
jobs across that as
Yeah,
well.
and media was always going to get hit hard because media
Mm,
had such a boom during the pandemic because people had nothing else to do.
yes.
So now you've got a little bit of a natural slowdown of people doing IRL stuff again. as well as a recession going on where people might go, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk instead of spending £37 to go to a cinema.
Yeah.
So,
And
like,
the
there
reason
is.
to which we're talking about this is because Disney is the latest
Yeah,
in cutting, or their
their
plan
entire.
is they are getting rid of 7,000 employees across all different areas. But the big one that kind of stuck out in the news was the fact that their entire Metaverse division, which I don't know how many people were in that, but like a whole
I think there
division
was a
was completely
couple
axed.
hundred, if not a couple thousand, in their
Possibly.
metaverse division because
Which,
they were building a lot for the metaverse.
well, yeah, it was that. It doesn't surprise me that that's where they've gone first with a big chunk of these layoffs.
It's
I mean,
expensive to do anything there. It requires a lot of very expensive
yeah,
people.
it's one of those things where layoffs are happening. They've got to find places to do it. The metaverse was a trendy word a year ago. It's already died off because the crypto market crashed.
I
All
mean,
these companies were like,
no one who had more than 3 brain cells thought it was ever going to be anything.
no. And it's like these companies all jumped on it because like Facebook started saying the metaverse, and all these companies jumped on this idea of like what this word was and crypto and Web3, and it all became this like kind of trendy like taglines and phrases. And Disney obviously, well, yeah, they have the money, they'll chuck money at it and have a look into it. And quite clearly,
if it
isn't
would have
going
gone nuts, Disney would have been like ground level in it, and they would have dominated that as well.
It's clearly not going anywhere at the moment. Like crypto and Web3 is nowhere near where people
They
think it
barely
should
even
be.
got legs in the metaverse.
Yeah, it's like, so it doesn't surprise me that that's where Disney started. It's not a shock. It's unfortunate for all those employees, but
Yes,
this
and I hope
is
they
like,
all land on their feet.
it's not a surprise that Disney is also like, it's going to be happening across every single industry, and people need to realize this. That like,
And here's the thing, don't get me wrong, Disney are never going to fold. They're too big to
no,
fail at this point. But they also, as well as the global recession meaning people are spending less money, which hits them on all fronts, people are now on a superhero fatigue, which means they're pumping loads of money into films that are making less money. And
yeah,
Disney Plus is, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're making loads of money on Disney Plus, but their margin for that is definitely getting smaller.
yeah, and you also need to remember, these big companies, like they've been around. Companies that have been around for years now and decades know how to navigate these things. Them unfortunately making layoffs is them protecting themselves and the future of the companies to get through this. And
Yeah.
realistically, it's the big companies that don't do that you should be more wary of, because maybe down the line they have to make bigger cuts suddenly because they tried not to, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunate, not a huge surprise though, unfortunately. It is where we're going. But
Indeed.
keeping kind of on with the layoffs.
Yeah, layoffs at Disney, but this is a more notable one, and it shows
Yes.
that not everyone is untouchable.
Mm.
Ike Perlmutter, I think I pronounced that correctly, has been let go by Disney, which is really interesting for an executive high enough. Normally, it's just, oh, they've stepped away, like we
Yeah.
saw last week, but has been let go by Disney. He was in charge of TV, game, and comics for Marvel. So if you look at like the last, I don't know, ever, that's been where Marvel's struggled the most. And has reportedly cancelled in the past Fantastic Four and X-Men comic lines to stop Fox getting story ideas back when Fox had the film rights. He was also a big champion for the Inhumans TV show. You remember that piece of shit show that never got finished?
Not a surprise.
I'm not super close to his work. I don't know a lot of the things he's done. He might have done some really good stuff as well.
Yeah. But
the tweet where I got this information from was clearly very happy to see him going though.
I think going off those things and the kind of flack that Marvel's been getting for TV stuff, especially, also, if he's kind of blocked a lot of good Fantastic Four stuff, that now that the MCU has it and wants to do stuff with it, like, is he still getting in the way? It seems like him being let go was probably he was offered the opportunity to step away, or he was told, or he's just been on the like cutting board for a while and biding his time, but they've just been like, we've given you plenty of time, so you gotta
Well, I
go.
mean, let's remember what I don't know exactly what the year was, but it was late 90s. Marvel had to sell off the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
because that was all they were deemed to have any fucking value for to try and stay afloat, and then they had to sell up to Disney anyway.
Yeah.
Disney only wanted them because of action figures. They didn't give a fuck about anything else. And then they ended up launching the MCU, which has been a raging success.
Yes.
TV, DC still kicks their ass. Video games, DC still kicks their ass. Because Spider-Man isn't
Oh yeah, true.
owned by Marvel and Disney. That's Sony.
True. True.
Comics, DC still kick their ass. So what we're seeing here, although to the average household, Marvel would probably seem like a more successful company because they might have more brand recognition at the minute.
Hmm.
Three of the 5 ways that they make their money in TV, game, and comics, they're getting their ass handed to them. I don't know what the action figures sales are like, but I wouldn't be surprised if DC are winning that as well.
I don't know. Disney World and stuff will be selling.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
still,
you've got films where, Marvel are winning, cool, but I mean, in the next 5 years, that could be a lot closer than it is now.
I actually think this is, considering we've had a lot of flack on Marvel recently, of like, sure you were at the top, but now you're struggling. Like your TV's not that great, your VFX have been bad. Like there's all these problems coming to light. Disney's quite clearly gone, okay, we need to make cuts anyway. People aren't keeping up with strategy coders and his issues. Some people have been asked if they want to go. Some people are being let go. Look at the woman who was the head of VFX.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, they're targeting the problem areas.
Quite clearly, yeah, they're going through a bit of a shake-up. They're using, let's be honest, perfect opportunity of a recession to, well, we're going to cut you because we're paying you a lot of money, so that's going to save us money, and also you're just not performing up to your position.
I mean,
so
this Ike guy is an older guy who's been there for a long time, and let's be honest, people at this point, they never miss out on their annual salary bump. He was probably on ridiculous money because he's just been there so long.
So fingers crossed this means good things for the future of games, TV, and comic from Marvel.
Next up, I'd like to announce that I'm now the TV, game, and comics creator for... No, I wish.
I would be fuming if this is how I found out. I'd be fuming.
Just live on the podcast, I announced that I'm fucking dipping to go be big Billy Bollocks in my suit.
Mate, what do you mean dipping? I'll be like, right, get on the phone to Kevin right now. We're having a three-way podcast. Me, you, Kevin, every week.
The Hat Bros. We all just wear a different hat every week. What a rebrand that'd be. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure they've got like an old Marvel set just in a back warehouse that we could just turn into a podcast set. Like,
however, we did get a first look at Vincent D'Onofrio on the set of Daredevil this week.
Yes.
He looks fucking good.
Yeah, he does. I mean, we saw him back in Hawkeye. So we know the man is great for the role. He looks perfect for the role. he looks great on set. We saw some more a couple more pictures of Charlie as Matt Murdock, not as Daredevil, like in suit. I saw an interesting theory about, because we've talked a few times about when's the show set, and I was with the theory of post blip, everything's chaos, people are back, people have been. A theory that it is actually we're going back to during the blip.
So I have a feeling, because this is an 18 episode series it's slated for, that there's just going to be a couple of flashbacks.
See, okay. So the reason I was like, maybe it is during the blip. It would explain why Foggy and that aren't back. Because what if they've been blipped? Maybe that's why they're not back. I mean, this is just me holding out hope that they are going to come back eventually. But
so I'm just trying to work out, when did the last season of Daredevil come out on Netflix?
Oh, a while ago. But like, if it's during the blip, it would explain maybe why Punisher's back. Kingpin trying to rise to power. Got all that going on. Foggy and that have been blipped.
So I think the last season came out in 2019.
Yeah.
Which would make it 4 years. I would not be surprised if this is just a couple of flashbacks to show us the fuck's been going on since.
Possibly.
Don't get me wrong, it could very well be that a decent portion of it is set. We could be talking maybe whole episodes set in the past. And maybe the whole thing is set in the past, but I don't know why they'd do that after the last time they did something set heavily in the past was such a roaring success. Not.
It always goes well. What are you on
about? So I'd probably lean towards it's probably 1 or 2 flashbacks they've done and they've let them photos leak because it'll just spin the rumor mill.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, that time is still set during the blips. It'll be interesting to see what's going on anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they look great. Looking forward to that.
They really, really do. We also got, much more interesting to me personally, our first look at Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn.
We have.
In Joker, A Folie à Deux. I like the fit.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
It looks like it fits that world really nicely while still being very Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Gaga's proven she can act in the film she did with Bradley Cooper, which names escaped me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think this film could be really good.
Here's my thing. It looks like it's looking great. The one thing that is just still keeping me on the fence is the fact that it's meant to be a musical. I'm just like, it feels. Now, don't get me wrong. It could be done well. It's just like not what I expected to be coming next.
Yeah. When you hear musical, you think like Grease.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But maybe it'll be a bit more West Side Story.
Maybe.
I'm gonna go watch it. I just am.
Well, we probably will.
But it is it's definitely an interesting one. But we've sat here and we've said we wish they'd try more things and have a bit more fun.
Yeah, I mean,
and be a bit more creative.
We know it's under Elseworlds, so they can do what they want.
The first one was really good. They're trying something new. Hopefully, it's good. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
But more Batman news. Woo, loads of
Batman Elseworlds news.
Yeah, Matt Reeves' Batman 2 villain is highly and heavily and lots of chitter chatter. Potentially going to be Clayface. Which
could be interesting.
So here's the thing.
Oh.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I quite like Clayface, and I kind of want to see a Clayface as a main antagonist, and I don't want to see Scarecrow or Joker again.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I think Clayface fits Matt Reeves' world as we've seen it.
Depends how because you've got to remember. Yes, Riddler was done in a very different tone to some classic like Riddler. Like I feel like in the first one, Riddler was done very serial killer-esque.
I
So
guess Matt Reeves' world gives me more of a mentally ill Batman villains vibe rather than supernatural villains vibe.
mm,
So I was looking for more like a Mad Hatter.
I get you. I suppose
Don't get me wrong, it could be done very well. I'm just curious to see
yeah.
how it's
I think
executed.
it comes down to like how he does the visuals as well of Clayface, because like he did a very different visual for Riddler to what we're used to.
Mm.
So it's like he could have a way that this does really fit in with the world. I agree that I don't think it should be Joker. Joker's too. I do think this next one, in my opinion, should set up a Joker more. Like we got the tease. I hope we get the full setup, and there's a third one that is then the Joker one, and that's his like little trilogy.
Let's just go through these Batman films real quick, live action Batman films, and we'll see who the villains have been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got these might not be in the right year order, so bear with. So we've got Batman, 1989, with Michael Keaton, which was the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got 92, which was Catwoman and Penguin. Then we've got Batman Forever, which was Two-Face and the Riddler. Then we've got Batman and Robin 1997, which was Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, and the worst imaginable adaptation of Bane.
Yep.
And that film was just absolute dog shit. Then did we get another one before the Bale trilogy? I don't believe we do. Then it's the Bale trilogy.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, there was only 8 years between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins. Batman Begins was closer to Batman and Robin than it is to like now.
That's wild. That's wild how old those films are now.
Yeah. So then you have Batman Begins, which was Scarecrow. The Dark Knight, which was Joker again.
Yeah.
And then Dark Knight Rises, which was Bane again.
Yeah.
Then we got Batman vs Superman, which was just Superman was the villain.
Yeah.
Maybe Lex Luthor, if you want to do it like that.
Yeah.
And then we got The Batman, which was the Penguin and the Riddler. So we've had, since 1992, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 different villains.
Okay.
And when you bear in mind, yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films, but most of them have had more than one appearance, and they've just had multiple villains in each film.
Mm-hmm.
Like Catwoman's been in 3 different films, and she hasn't been the main character in fucking any of them.
She's probably had more. Her more recent one has probably been the most Matt Reeves version of her.
Yeah. I want to see. It's been a while since we've had Mr. Freeze, so I'd be okay with Mr. Freeze. Plus, it'd be nice to get a good Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I'd be down for a Hush, a Mad Hatter. I mean, I could accept Two-Face. It's been a while since we've had Two-Face, at least.
Yeah, I feel like a Mr. Freeze or Two-Face will work very well, I think, in Matt Reeves' world. You could have some interesting way of doing them.
What I don't want is Ra's al Ghul again.
I don't think not in Matt Reeves. I think it needs to be.
Someone fucking out there, you know.
See, I feel like Two-Face would work well in Matt Reeves's because
I like him for the third film of the trilogy, though.
What, to play in with Joker? Because we're obviously going to get to Joker. Also, we're presuming this is a trilogy from Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves could keep this going for a while if he wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still going to get broken up into trilogy arcs.
True.
It
I
kind of always
I
happens
do
that way.
think the third one's main thing is gonna be Joker, and this next one's gonna set up Joker properly.
You know
So
what? Do you know what someone said? I believe it was on Twitter the other day that I hadn't really considered, but is an outstanding point.
okay,
All superhero films now feel like end of the world or it's pointless. We've got the perfect opportunity with the sequel to the Batman film to not be like an end of world threat.
yeah,
Make it a fucking bank robber, and the Batman's just got to work out what they're gonna do and stop them. Make them a serious. Give us Victor Zaz.
yeah, that
Give us
actually would
someone that
be.
people know the name of, but they don't need to be outstanding. Let them just be a batshit crazy person that's just too much for.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's like we've already got. We had in the first one the precedent of he's been doing stuff and handing people over to Arkham and that. Like that's already kind of been a precedent set. So it's like it's not like he's new to this world. We could very easily just have new crazy guy that it doesn't need to be end of the world. It's just new crazy guy terrorizing. Essentially,
Yeah.
for this, it's the second one, right? There was shit got flooded, so it's going to be probably set a couple of years or something after. Usual shit going on, police being corrupt, government people being corrupt. That's why you could maybe get away with like a Two-Face.
Yeah.
But then yeah, you could have like a Mr. Freeze that's like just I don't know, catching people and fucking murdering them by freezing them and shit. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
up to.
Or
Like in that world, like there's a lot.
yeah, even like a huntress who was the daughter of a mob boss and then turned into a vigilante, and Batman had to kind of stop her because she was like killing criminals. And
Yeah,
like that adds a level to it, you know. Just
considering
as much as I love the Joker, I don't want to see the Joker again for a little while,
I think
especially when we've got Joker films coming out.
yeah, I think Matt kind of wants to set up to his version of Joker. I think this idea of do you know what I think is going to happen? I think this second film, whatever the person we saw who was playing kind of pre Joker in Arkham,
Yeah,
I think he's going to escape. Matt's going to end up putting him back in prison again, which makes him a bit more. Then start to become obsessed with him. Then it's
yeah,
like he's going to slow build him to becoming Joker and becoming obsessed with Batman.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to just be like, oh yeah, it's now time for Joker's terrorizing everyone. I think it's going to be he's going to keep setting up this idea that or build it up over time of this person becoming the Joker and becoming obsessed with the Batman.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be
Another,
a more fun way to do it.
yeah, another couple of good ones that could work: Court of Owls or the Order of Saint Dumas, like these big kind of
Yes.
secretive
Ooh,
organizations
Court of
operating in the
Owls could
shadows.
be good for the
Yes,
second one.
just for the love of God, just
Here's the thing
I
Clayface being the rumor could be that there's like a very small bit where like Clayface's character is like put into Arkham or something. Like it could just be like because he's a known big name villain in a way, like a very well known one. That's why it's got
no,
rumored.
yeah. Do you know what I'd actually quite like? Stick with me here because I'm
Okay.
a big fan of trilogies changing their tone
Uh huh.
as a concept, and it's not really been done. What if
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning the actor who becomes Clayface has a mental break and Batman stops him from like trying to commit a murder and like say he's trying to kill like another actor who got a role he wanted.
Yeah.
Batman stops him. He gets put in Arkham. Then you've got the Riddler and him in Arkham. Then we can go off and we can have a Mad Hatter because his whole thing is just hypnotization, or an Order of Saint Dumas or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a post-credit scene of Hugo Strange performing experiments at Arkham, which
Mm.
turns which gives us these supernatural characters.
Yeah.
Because then we have a plausible way where we can go, okay, this man being made of clay didn't make sense before, but we've seen this mad scientist fucking doing experiments.
Yeah.
That's what takes what we've seen as the Joker so far from this crazy person to the Joker. It
Mhm.
gives us Clayface. It gives us Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. It also then builds on this idea that the Batman thinks he's doing good by shoving them in Arkham, but actually he's making them worse by putting them in there.
Exactly.
I do think you can very cleverly could shift this tone away. I think the second one still needs to be very kind of detective heavy in a way, like someone that is him using detective-esque skills that we saw in the first one to figure some like big shit going on. I wonder if maybe like Court of Owls is better for like a tease in the second one and build up to the third one, and it's like it's some big thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's also having to deal with like the likes of Clayface just before he becomes Clayface, and these other things going on, and he's trying to deal with on the side. I think they need to build up this idea of using Arkham as kind of like a big central thing for this Batman.
100%. But as long as we keep it not world threat and not unbelievably out there, I think it'll be fine.
I think
I'd rather see a big villain we've not seen before.
I think it's pretty safe going off the tone of the first one that like Matt Reeves' Batman is very much going to be Gotham focused.
Yes, I really hope so.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Superhero Showdown, Jesus Christ, we got really
So
stoked into how can we make Batman just tippity top. Swamp Thing versus Blue Beetle in the good old Marvel, DC Heroes final. Fucking Marvel. My favorite Marvel hero is Superman. So yeah, Swamp Thing versus Blue Beetle. Ba, ba, da, ba. The winner of this will be, as we said, our DC hero, and will enter the semi-finals where they will fight against the DC villain before the mega final. Da, da, da. We have got Swamp Thing versus Blue Beetle. Swamp Thing has got here as the number 1 seed. Blue Beetle has pulled off a bit of a Cinderella story, getting as only the 4 seed.
He's pulled a fast one.
He's had some matchups that he's made go his way.
Yeah, very favourable matchups for him.
Yeah, for sure. But
this one I'm not so sure.
In the finals, there are no advantages.
Yeah. I guess the big question, I guess, in a way, is can his suit protect him from something? From like just smothering and crushing him?
I think it can protect him for a while. It's not a all or nothing situation, if that makes sense. Like the suit can get worn down. So I guess the question is, do we think it lasts long enough for him to defeat Swamp Thing?
I'm not, because Swamp Thing is gonna be brutal being bloodlusted. Like that guy is gonna not be like he's pretty tanky, pretty tough foe to even like take face on anyway.
Yeah.
So him coming for you, I don't know if Blue Beetle really has the means to outlast. Because without as soon as the suit starts going, like he's not really much without it, right?
Yeah, no, I mean he's a kid.
Yeah. So
and because the suit has a bit of a mind of its own, once it realizes it might be outmatched, it's more likely to just try and run away. So that'd be like a loss. I'm not saying that he definitely dies. I'm saying I don't see him winning.
Yeah,
you know how like you're always taught as a kid, it's better to run away from a fight than like put yourself in a really dangerous situation.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of more likely what would happen.
I get you. I do think I do find it hard to see a way that Blue Beetle can outlast Swamp Thing.
And that's the thing. I don't think like human plant thing gets tired. I think it
No.
just, photosynthesizes.
And we know that like the Blue Beetle suit will take damage, and at the end, like if it was someone of a formidable or had their own powers under the suit, like the suit was this whole added thing, sure. But the fact that like as soon as that suit starts going, like it's just guy versus giant fucking Swamp Thing, and it's like, well, normal ordinary guy ain't gonna win. So I don't think the suit is strong enough to withstand Swamp Thing for long enough. So in that sense, then Swamp Thing wins, right?
Yeah, I think it's only fair to say well done to Blue Beetle, but leave him here.
Yeah, I think he's beaten a lot of more formidable foes than he should have done, and I think Swamp Thing is one that's just slightly above his pay grade.
Yeah. I mean, he managed to. Let's have a little look at his run here. He managed to beat Deadman, who was the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So he was favoured in that one. He then managed to take on Raven, the number 2 seed, and get by there. And we said it was close, but he managed to get away with it.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing ain't happening.
Swamp Thing is just too big of a foe.
He is indeed. But we got to give up respect. He's made a bit of a Cinderella run.
He has.
But he does indeed end it here. And it does keep track with the 1 seed. Oh, no, the 1 seed hasn't made it out of every single bracket. I forgot Ghost Rider one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's done well. He's done well. And that'll leave us with
DC Villains?
our last quarterfinal. Our DC Villains.
Yes.
Which is going to be Ra's al Ghul versus Gorilla Grodd.
Ooh.
In a 1v1 to the death to set up our DC semi-final. We're only, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks away from the end of this bracket.
Wild.
This bracket has lasted us
this bracket has gone
time.
A fair amount of time.
Yeah. This it's been a thing. It's been a thing. If anyone wants to go back and watch all the episodes with these fights and turn it into a big anime, that'd be awesome. But that's it from us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we'll have more Mandalorian, D&D, Honor Among Thieves.
Yes.
Review. That's the word I'm looking for. And I will also be explaining why comic books are so difficult to get into. Because it's about time someone addressed it. Thank you as always. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. We're going to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the year.
Yes, we
are.
You
only get to flex on people if you're subscribed before that.
Exactly.
And everyone wants to be able to flex. It's good to have a couple of flexes in the back pocket.
It is indeed.
Exactly. So, make sure you're liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week.
We will see you next week.